Defensively, I really thought that Washington State bowed their necks, stopped the run, played outstanding defense, got a pick six by Ethan O'Connor. That was the best they've looked on defense.
Welcome to Pac-12 After Dark, hosted by Nick Aliotti and myself, Erik Coleman. Coach, it was a great night for college football, a great day for college football. Had some upsets, had some great games. What were your overall thoughts on this on today's football?
Well, I'm a guy that spends from 6 a.m. till the time when game day starts on TV till the last snap. So I treat myself to a 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. day of football. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously, being an Oregon Duck and having been there for so long, that was a great football game, one that I truly enjoyed. Autumn was rocking, and a big, big win for Oregon over Ohio State.
Absolutely. That was definitely the game of the week. Number 2 versus number 3. Coach, we'll start off with Oregon State as they went to Reno to face Nevada Wolfpack. Big game from Anthony Hankerson, 148 yards on the ground. Giovanni McCoy, 348 yards in the air, but it was not enough for the Beavers to topple the Wolfpack. What were your thoughts on this game?
Well, I thought that, Hankerson continues to run the ball very well. The Beavers were without Jam Griffin, but Hankerson has carried the load. And then the young Allah kid is playing second fiddle. He's getting some run too. McCoy, 4 picks, and a pick 6. Not a recipe to win when you're turning the ball over that many times. And the real issue is this, Erik. This is the real issue. And I saw it in the Purdue game. Actually, the Oregon game, but I thought Oregon really outmanned Oregon State, so I didn't really use that one that much. But Oregon State has had a real problem stopping the run. Nevada rushed for 350-something yards against Oregon State last night, and 4 picks and allowing that many yards rushing is a definite recipe for defeat.
Yeah, Coach, my antennas went up when I saw Giovanni McCoy had 348 yards in the air. I said, that's not really Oregon State's recipe for winning football games. Typically, it's ball control, running the football, stopping the run. But from the looks of it, Nevada, Brandon Lewis had 151 yards on the ground, the quarterback for Nevada. Savion Red, 23 carries for 137 yards and 4 touchdowns. What is Oregon State gonna, as a defensive coordinator, as a former defensive coordinator, what is the recipe for getting that run stop? Because we talk about it every week, Coach. Allowing teams to run down the middle of your defense is going to lead to a long season. What can Oregon State do to stop the run?
Well, first of all, I'm going to give them a little bit of a pass. They had a tremendous amount of starters out. Okay, tremendous amount of defensive starters didn't play in that game. I know Trent Bray won't use as an excuse, but I'm not sitting in those meetings. But if it was me, I would make it simple. Alignment, assignment, adjustments, make it simple. Make sure guys are in their gaps. Make sure their eyes are right. Do less, but they must fix this problem because it's been coming. We've been watching it now, Erik. It's been coming since the Purdue game. And to allow a team like Nevada, a team that Oregon State should be, to rush for 350 yards, and now they're playing next week the better of the Nevada teams in Las Vegas. They need to really fix this. Now, first they got to get some guys healthy, but secondly, they got to line, assign, adjust, and then tackle. The tackling has been, the yards after touch have been way too much. They need to go back to the drawing board, work on tackling, work on their gap control, work on having their eyes right, staying in their gaps, and I think keep it simpler so they can line up and play.
Yeah, Coach. As a safety, I couldn't help but I felt bad for the safeties because it seems like on a lot of those runs, the first time the running back would get touched was by a safety once he got to the second level. And so on defense, you definitely want to get some penetration from that defensive line, try to find a way to bounce the ball. Playing against a speedy running back, I remember Chris Johnson back in the Titans. I used to just beg the defensive line, just make him stop his feet once in the backfield. Because if he stops his feet once, then that allows the linebackers, the safeties, to be able to get an angle on them, and it makes it much easier for a defender to stop that run. But, I agree with you. I think that Oregon State getting healthy is going to be a big part of them stopping this run. But, it's a pride thing. It's a pride thing. They're going to have to figure out how to stop this leak if they want to continue to win. In the past, they've been able to outscore it, and they came close. They put up a lot of points offensively. They've been able to outscore their mistakes on defense, but sooner or later it's going to catch up to you, and it's starting to right now for the Beavers.
Oregon State, has prided themselves and has won football games, Erik, on ball control, play action pass, running the ball, keeping the ball for a longer time than their opponent, and then stopping the run and making the other team have to go the long distance. Well, now they're getting the ball control run against them. And not only are they giving up runs on the inside, they're also losing the edges of the defense. So hopefully they can have a good week of practice, bounce back, and get things back in order because they still have a lot in front of them to have a good season.
Oregon State 4-2 with the loss to Nevada, looking to bounce back next week against the UNLV running Rebels. Let's see if they can bounce back. We'll be talking about that more next week. But coming up next, cover the Washington State Cougars. So stay tuned with us on Pac-12 After Dark. Welcome back to Pac-12 After Dark. Nick Aliotti here with Erik Coleman, talking about all the action in the Pac-12. Oregon State with the disappointing loss to Nevada, but Washington State going down to Fresno State in a tough environment and coming out with the victory, winning 25-17 over the Bulldogs. Coach, it was a fantastic game. I thought Washington State had a great defensive game plan, and they battled through the tough defense of Fresno State. Initial thoughts, just top-level thoughts. What did you think about Washington State's victory?
Well, I'll start with offense. I think, thank goodness for John Mateer. John Mateer continues to be able to extend plays with his legs. There were a number of plays that were off script where Mateer either made a run to convert a first down or scrambled and was able to throw a pass to an open receiver because it's tough to keep coverage on a scramble for that long. So Mateer, even though he was only at about 50% completion rate, he continues to be the big deal for Washington State's offense. He's been unbelievable. Completions were down percentage, but he made enough plays with his legs and looking downfield to keep that offense scoring enough points to win. Defensively, I really thought that Washington State bowed their necks, stopped the run, played outstanding defense, got a pick six by Ethan O'Connor. That was the best they've looked on defense because it's hard to go into Fresno and win. But Washington State was up to the task yesterday, and I thought they played a pretty much a complete game.
Coach, I agree with you 100%. Coming out, Washington State came out and scored on their first drive, and you were like, okay, here we go. It's going to be another one of those 42-point offensive explosions for Washington State. But I thought that Fresno State did a good job with Mateer of keeping him in the pocket and keeping everything in front of them. I thought they had a pretty good game plan, and Washington State was able to pivot and find a way to win. It wasn't the most glamorous game offensively. Wayshawn Parker rushed for 63 yards, so nothing crazy there. John Mateer, you're right, Coach. there was a 4th and 2 where he ran with his legs and was able to keep the drive going. Moving around the pocket, he took a couple of good shots, but I thought that this was a different game where you see John Mateer win. It wasn't like the Washington game where he's running all over the field, throwing bombs. He had to really read the defense. I thought he did a good job of showing maturity and reading the defense, not making a lot of mistakes. He did have one interception, but overall, I thought he did a great job of managing this offense. On the defensive side, man, I thought Jeff Schmetti did a great job with the game plan for Washington State. This was a tough physical group from Fresno. Elijah Gilliam ran the ball for 123 yards. That was really the big difference in this game. But Washington State, when they needed to make plays, I thought they did a great job. They disguised quite a bit. Tyson Durant had an interception. Ethan O'Connor had 2 interceptions. One of them got called back. And I thought on the last pick 6, it was an amazing job of disguising. They showed that they were in cover 1 coverage. Ethan O'Connor was back on man-to-man. On the snap of the ball, he drops down to the flat. The safety rolls over top and threw it right to him. Really fooled Fresno State into throwing that interception. So great job by scheming the Washington State defense. And it was just really an overall great win for the Cougs.
Yeah, the defense won the game for him. Now, Mateer made enough plays. The offense wasn't pretty, as you said, Erik. It wasn't flashy, but they made enough plays. But the defense really, I thought for the first time this year, their defense really, really played a good football game. And you're right on that touchdown for that interception for a touchdown. They disguised it. They rolled into a zone, and O'Connor admitted that he had seen that play earlier, and he was waiting for it. And when the receiver ran that little hook, he was sitting in the flat. He jumped the route. You could see he was almost looked like he was the receiver because he was ready for it, and he was well in front of the throw for an easy pick down the sidelines for a touchdown.
Coach, and interesting you say that because I heard Coach on John Mateer, the one mistake that he made in this game was down in the red zone, throwing a fade route down the field. And he said that the Fresno State defense knew the signal that Washington State did to check to that play. And so just like Ethan O'Connor, he saw the play before he did his film study. He saw the tendency. He went and jumped the play. Washington State made a mistake with their hand signals. And Coach Dickert said, listen, we have to change up our hand signals. We have to do something different because defenses are starting to pick up on it. Coach, have you ever been studying a team and watched the film and just been like, oh, there's a signal they have. Let's jump on it and take advantage of it?
I can't say that signals has ever been something that I've stolen, but I have imparted to my players throughout the week and in film study that certain formations or splits, we're going to get this play or this route. And when the guys really pay attention and they do their film study as well as you do in your film study, a lot of times they can see plays developing before they happen.
Yeah, Coach, one example of that I remember from the NFL, Jason David, a former Washington State Cougar, my former teammate and uncle of Ethan O'Connor for Washington State now. Jason David's his uncle. I remember when he was in the NFL with the Colts and they were playing the Bengals, and Jason had picked up on some tendency that Chad Johnson was doing. After they would break the huddle, when he was going to get the ball, he would restrap his gloves. And so now they knew, all right, he's going to get the ball. Whenever he wasn't getting the ball, he would leave him loose. And they picked up on the tendency, were able to double team him and come out with the win. So that film study will come through for you when you if you do it the right way.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. If you watch sometimes, it's a little bit different in today's game. But offensive linemen, they have white knuckles when their hands down, or is it light run or pass? You get a tip there, and also, it's amazing. Sometimes running backs will look to a certain spot where they're going to carry the ball to see where that hole might be, or a receiver. Usually a receiver, if he's going to block, he'll kind of look inside of the guy he's maybe going to block. So there are some tips that you can steal during a game.
Yeah, I love the gamesmanship, but Great job by the Cougs. Big time victory, going down to Fresno State and coming out with the win in a place that a lot of teams don't have success winning football games. So big win for the Cougars. Jake Dickert and his squad did a great job. Looking forward to next week and then bouncing back. So make sure you tune in with us as Coach Nick Aliotti and myself break down Week 8 of college football. So thanks for tuning in and have a great Saturday night.